Okay, so let's proceed with the law of supply. What does the law of supply states? The law of supply states that as the price of a good or service increases as it goes up, the quantity supplied will increase. And as the price of the good or service decreases, quantity supplied will decrease. Okay? Now, let me clarify things here. The law of demand is actually taken up from the point of view of the consumer. Now, what about the law of supply? What do you think? So the law of supply actually is taken up from the point of view of the producer, the supplier, or simply the seller. Okay? So what we are seeing here is that there is a direct relationship between change in price and change in quantity supplied. Quantity supplied here is the willingness of producers to make something or sell something. Okay, so we are taking up the point of view of the supplier. Yung law of demand, the law of demand is actually from the point of view of the consumer or the buyer. So this time, remember, it's from the point of view of the supplier. Okay, so this time, unlike the law of demand, which is pretty straightforward, no, and quite logical, very easy to understand because you experience this you experience this behavior most of the time when you are shopping. Your reaction to price going up, price going down. The law of supply, when you look at it, it might be a little bit counterintuitive. But to understand it better, again, we'll use a graph. So a graphical representation is best so that we can understand the law of supply. So now you see the line actually going up. Okay? From the point of origin, you will see that the price is actually going up. The units actually in the x-axis is actually going up. Okay, so what we are looking at here is, okay, same labeling of the x and y axis, except for in the x-axis, this is quantity supplied as represented by the symbol or variable QS1. So we are using QS for quantity supply. Okay, so we are talking about, again, the point of view of the supplier. So at price P1, what we are looking at here, QS1 actually represents the number of units that producers are willing to sell, willing to produce, and willing to make at price P1. Okay, so this is how much that sellers are willing to produce, QS1, given the price P1. So again, let's have an example. If the price, for example, of the commodity in the market, being sold in the market, is, let's say, 25 pesos. Producers or sellers are willing to make, willing to sell, willing to manufacture 100 units of the said product if it's being sold at the market at 25 pesos. Okay? Now let's put some movement on our supply curve so that we can understand better the law of supply. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. So see here that there is a price change from P1 to P2. So for example, price was previously at 25 pesos and then it became 50 pesos in the market. Okay. So the product that you are selling, for example, is now being sold at a higher price. So what happens to quantity supply? Notice that quantity supplied actually increases. Okay? So when price goes up, quantity supplied also follows. It also goes up. Quantity supply goes up from QS1 to QS2. So now, since it's being sold at 50 pesos, maybe from quantity supplied of 100 units, it's now, producers are now willing to make 200 units of the product or the good. Okay? Now, why is this so? That's the question. Can you explain the direct relationship of price and quantity supplied in the law of supply? Why is it that when the price of the product goes up, it seems that producers are willing to make more of it and they're willing to sell more of the product? That's the question. Okay. So it is because since it's being sold in the market at a higher price, there is opportunity for them to make more profit. Okay, so the higher the price, the better for the producers or the sellers. So this actually motivates them to make more of the product. So they are now willing to sell more of the product. So the tendency is for them to produce more of it. Okay, so that's the rationality or the logic behind the supply curve, and it actually explains the shape of the supply curve. So why it's actually going up, starting here at the lower left, now it's going up to the upper right. Okay, so when price goes up, quantity supplied will also goes up. Of course, the reverse can also happen. If the price falls, what will happen to quantity supplied? Quantity supplied will also fall. Okay, so if the price is lower, so producers have no reason to make a lot of it or to sell many of the products, so they will reduce their production. So they are now less willing to sell the products. Okay. Questions? Yeah, I hope everything's clear. Now, just like the law of demand, the law of supply, especially the graphical visualization of the law of supply, can be also translated or interpreted using a table. Now, when you see a table like this is what we call the supply schedule. Okay, so again, we see here the price in the left column, and you will see here the movement of the price. Price actually goes up here in our left column from 10 pesos, it became 20 pesos, it became 30 pesos. And then there's a corresponding change in quantity supply. Okay, so it follows the law of supply. So quantity supplied also goes up. Pardon the typo there. Okay, so at 10 pesos, producers are willing to sell 100 units of the product, or they are willing to make 100 units of the product. At 20 pesos, price goes up. They are now willing to sell 110 units more of the product, 110 units of the product. At 30 pesos, producers, sellers are now willing to make 120 units of the product. So there is an increase in quantity supply when price goes up. Okay? So that's basically the law of demand and the law of supply. So that's it. Thank you very much. You have a nice day. Stay safe. God bless.